This is the emergency broadcast system.
Hi guys, Ian from the Football Boots team, and today we're going to look at what's inside Cristiano Ronaldo's football boots, aside from his size 9 feet. Alright, so I've got pretty much all of the bits out that I need. I'm just going to look in this box. This box is from past videos. I've got some interesting stuff in here. I've got an old boot that I cut up there. This was when I was looking at the Nemesis. Messy Nemesis at that. This was looking at a fake Hypervenom. Got a bit more of the Nemesis here, a bit of the Hypervenom cut out here. Another half of it here. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to look at in this video is the inside of the boot, and one of the reasons for doing this. And if you look at the inside of the chapter 3s that we've got here, you can just see in there now, it's very different to what you find inside these new, choose these ones, inside these new Superflies. So part of their thinking and making these boots is it has this whole new sole plate and the way that it locks into the sock liner. So on the chapter 3s, when the Superfly, the last one I cut up, had this sole plate, they used this sock liner, which is just our standard one, and it had like a little bit of ridges and stuff going on. Now that was to do with the Nike grip and about movement and slipping in the feet, and they had this on the sole as well. Now they've moved on to these ones, and look at the bottom of that, very different than this one, yeah? And that's to make it lock down into the boot, stop your foot moving around so much, because Nike is saying that even if your foot slides like a millimeter inside the boot, then your speed can be compromised. And a lot of that's to do with why Ronaldo was wearing shorter versions of his boot than his feet were, to stop his feet from sliding around. So they're trying to lock your foot into place in these. Make sure you don't miss out on all of our latest content. Turn on notifications and make sure you're subscribed. So, in the past, we've looked and we've gone and cut through the sole plate of the Superfly 5. So that's what we're going to do on these. We're going to cut into the bottom of the Superfly 360, and we're going to have a look inside and see how this inside differs. You can see the material this is all made up of, how it differs from these to this. And so you can see how cheap the materials are inside this fake pair compared to the Superfly 5s, and just all the extra stuff that you get in a genuine pair. These ones are fake, as in they're marketed on like Chinese websites, eBay and places like that as being real Superflies, but they are not. They are in fact made by a third-party company, not Nike, and they're still trying to sell them as such. They're not the scaled down ones like a Veloce or an Academy or a Club or something like that. They're actually ones that people are trying to tell you are genuine. Anyway, we'll take a closer look at these and compare them to these now. So, the other difference, obviously, as you can see between the two Superflies, is this one has that kind of split toe sole plate type thing going on, but the sole plate goes all the way across the bottom. This one, at the top and at the back. So the first thing I'm going to do, I think, is try and prise off this sole plate, take it off, and we'll just look at this front bit and this back bit and see the differences there. And then the next thing I'd like to do is cut open, as this Superfly 360 has this wraparound fly knit that goes all the way around the upper. I want to cut it down the separation point there, open up the boot and see what is going on inside and see the differences between the 360 and on this one. So let's have a look now that we've had a chance to take the boot apart, and I'm just going to bring in the pieces as such. So here is the sole plate here. So this is the boot itself, and then these are the pieces that we've managed to take off. So you can see it's put together. It has these just little bits of plastic that stick out and they lock into the boot. So some people are worried about boots falling apart. People have talked about how this bit can come off, and it's really only to there that can come off, and a bit of super glue, and you could fix that if you wanted to, or return to Nike. They will sort you out, of course, but it happens very rare occasions because these little plastic hooks are there to lock this sole plate in place, and then a huge amount of glue and more plastic hooks around the front. This is not going to come off. Most people who are having any trouble with this have got fake boots, not genuine ones. They've been put together really nicely, and again, they've done exactly the same thing on the heel. Use a little plastic bits to kind of lock the heel bit back into place on the back here as well. So it's just a really interesting difference having this as your sole plate rather than this version, which went the whole length, and obviously this is one of the big design changes that they've gone for. It's almost like a kind of animal claw that they're looking for with the way they've put it together. So let's go ahead and start cutting into these and taking it apart, and we'll find out exactly what is going on with these boots. Just quickly, let's have a look at what's inside some of the other boots I mentioned earlier, so you can get an idea and compare them with the Superfly 360. We've got the Nike Obras, we've got Messi's Nemesis, the Nike Hypervenom 3s, and these are a pair of fake boots, a pair of fake Superfly. They're not even made by Nike, they're made by a third party pretending to be Nike. So before we take a look at how this comes apart, obviously I wanted to tell you again about the Superfly Vapor Max that I made using the other boot. Make sure you check out that video, there is a card for that, but wait until you've seen the rest of this video of course first. So we just look at the internals and we talked about what the comparison was between the two generations, and I hope that you guys can see, as I open it up here, that they've just used exactly the same. It's exactly the same, isn't it?
Yes, exactly the same.
And so if you look at the fake pair, really thin in the upper here, none of this extra padding and stuff that's giving you the comfort. And pretty thin through here as well. Do you want us to give you a look at what is inside the Phantom Vision? If so, make sure you vote in the poll card now, yes or no, and we can look at doing a what's inside of these boots and cut them up and have a really good look at De Bruyne's boots and see what's going on with those. But today we've been talking about the Superflies, and the next question is, do we move on to look at these? We can get the hot knife out and look at those. If you've got to this point and you are desperate to know or to see me cut up this actual pair of boots, then I want you to hit that like button on this video now, and I want you to share it with your friends, because I'm only going to do it if this video gets over 1 million views. Then I'll come back and I'll do it with this actual pair of boots. If you want to see what is inside these, you want to see me cut these apart, you've already seen me do it with the Just Do It's with the the orange boots, we can see what's inside the boots. There is hardly any difference. It's just the design elements, and you guys can see that by eye. The internals is what it's all about. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this video, and if you do want me to cut up these, then we can do it, but we've got to get over 1 million views. You've got to share it with your friends. And guys, make sure you enter that competition. Go back and look for the keyword if you didn't already see it. It does pop up at one point in the video, and that's how you'll know what it is. Right guys, any suggestions on what you want to see in future videos, you want to see inside some other players' boots, you want anything else for us to do with boots, then we'll have a look at doing it. Thank you very much for watching. Go enjoy your football.